Hey, what is Time Travel Weird? This is going to be a video about the state of the shader for March. Just starting off at least. It's going to give people an idea of where it's at, in case anyone wants to join the Patreon, you see what you're getting. It's definitely a work in progress, so there are bugs, and I will show the bugs, and there are features, so I will show you the features. And if anyone is interested in joining, I really appreciate it. It really helps me kind of get back on my feet, as like a slow burn project like this is kind of the most productive thing I could do, and I really want to bring something new and good to the table. Yeah, so we're starting on high. Let's see, this month, I don't know if this month I did the water caustics, added more stable reflections. I'll show those off out of the water. One of the first bugs we got here is that you cannot see out of water when you're in it. I will fix that later. Oop. Better than bugs is my inability to play. So, another thing I did recently related to the water is I added better reflection code, just in general. So this is with Distant Horizons. This is right now I'm running on Iris and Distant Horizons test builds in 120.4. So performance may be better without Distant Horizons. I'm also using Patrix 128 as a resource pack, which can be heavy on a lot of settings. So I added more accurate reflections that go all the way out into Distant Horizons and still are up close, and they don't do the janky shifting. In here, Jank Tracing 5 is the old reflection code, which is 10 FPS faster for me. 6 is very accurate reproduction techniques, and 7 is a mix of the two, where it does the new stuff for crisp reflections and the old stuff for rough reflections. I'll show what that looks like at night, I guess, in a second. For water, you can adjust the smoothness to make it less noisy. Or if we go just to water style 0, that is vanilla. And I'm going to fix all these tooltips. Some of them do have tooltips when you hover over them. The majority of things do not, because I just haven't gotten into making the whole language file yet. But some I'm not finding any. I didn't do a good job of it. And you can see there's a bug here where when I move, there's like some jiggle. You don't see it when the water's wavy. So don't play with the vanilla water until I figure that out. Also, the fog is not drawn in the reflections yet. And because there's a screen space, the edges of the screen are getting a little bit of a problem until I work that out. But what this means is with glass and stuff now, we get the much better reflections too. And I will do off-screen reflections later, so that'll fix where when stuff goes off-screen, it just disappears. Or I can make a fading technique also, so it's less obvious. But before all the reflections were, I'll just show it, in not a good way, which was not at all good for reflections, but it was good for bounce sighting, because like I said, it's at least 10 FPS faster. And 7 is the good mix of them for now. I'll do better later, and it'll just be embedded. If we go back to water and go to water style 1, which is the main one I'm doing, you can turn off the water coloration. You can choose if there is water coloration, how much it looks like vanilla. Smoothness, like I said, changes the smoothness of it, because you get the wider ripples and these little wind ripples. I need to adjust them because they're a little bit too strong. Like the fine ripples are just a lot stronger than they should be. But you can see the reflections go all the way out, all the way close. And that's a new thing, because I just didn't do that before because I was doing my super fast stuff. But there's still some bugs you could see where there's some glitches here and there that could probably be fixed by upping the step count. I'm also just doing some funny math to get close and far reflections to work, because Distant Horizons is so far out there. I'll make more adjustments to it later to make it work better. One of the reasons I'm mixing the new and old code for now The handheld lighting is accidental. I'll put us on cinematic here so you can see it, because it shows up best on the higher settings because there's more rays. And this is because I'm not explicitly doing block lighting, like it's not casting rays on purpose, they're just happening to hit the handheld block. So in here you can see all the lighting on those bricks. If I go into the newer version, if we watch here, you lose a lot of that. But the older version mixed in for the rough reflections gives you all of that. So for now I'm keeping that in as a mix. But later I'm going to explicitly cast rays to handheld items, not just that some happen to hit there. And that will give us that good spooky cave lighting on all of the settings, not just on like the high settings. I'm going to go back on high just because it runs better. My goal with it is to maintain 60 FPS. Let's see, with reflections, so you can see even in the handheld blocks you get everything. Like everything's treated the same. So a lot of stuff is dynamic, and I made some changes to sunrise and sunset and to the way clouds work. You can see that the sun is trying to kind of poke through the fog and haze, and we're on high, not cinematic right now, so the sky is running at like a quarter resolution, so it can look better. So it's probably extra grainy. You'll see it. I really probably won't because my eyes aren't that great. But one of the changes is that the sun pokes through, and we just got really dynamic lighting that I like. The rain and storms got some work this month. I put in cloud shadows that I showed a little bit of, and I put in that things get hazier. As it rains, you see we get some haze started, and you see the sun is just kind of barely trying to poke through. We can still see the sky some. Get some God rays. They're really intense over there, it looks like, because it just happens to be hazy over there. I see the sun starting to want to try to poke through. I know, I really like the feel and the look of how dynamic it is. We always have some pretty good visibility here. It looks, did I turn on the ripples? Yeah, the ripples are starting to collect as the water gets, like the ground gets saturated. I can't do two things at once. I didn't have caffeine yet today. As we go into thunder, you see it gets much more dynamic and darker. The air is a lot hazier, so you can't see out into the sky usually anymore, and you get these really, really intense God rays where the clouds are open. Like you can see, here's a little opening here, and the light is getting through. And rainbows are dynamic, so you can see one starting to want to form there. It's based off of it's physically based. It's based off of like refraction, internal reflection, and another refraction. But I'm going to change it to make them a little bit less obvious, I think. If the light goes away, that light patch, you can see the sun's just trying to kind of poke through, and we get this really, really just dynamic situation. I really like it, and I hope you guys do too. And this stuff will be adjustable. The amount of haze that's regular is, and I will put in a slider for how much extra haze there is for thunderstorms. But I'm a fan. And if we go back to a regular rainstorm, the haze is going to lessen out, so we'll get much more visibility, but it's still very hazy because of the rain coming down. And with this new sky reflection, or this new reflection system, I need to adjust the amount of sky reflection, because it looks like the fully wet surfaces aren't quite as bright as I would like. They were a little brighter before. But yeah, it's a reworked way that the light works with everything. So if we go to evening, oh, we got a rainbow. As the sun sets, you see it's still trying to kind of poke through the clouds. And we start to get coloration. It's going to be yellows, and then it's going to be reds. And then after the sun sets, we'll get purples way up in the sky. That gives us actually like a dual lighting where we have both sun and moon lighting at the same time. It isn't perfect yet. I need to adjust some more on it. But it gives us some really good color variation. It looks like we just switched over to moon lighting, which is why this rainbow just swapped. I will probably fix that and make rainbows not able to come from the moon. But you can see that even though the main light source for blocks now is the moon, we are still getting sunlighting in all of the sky and atmospherics. And again, we're on high, so you get a little bit of outlines on things. This guy really wants attention. Actually, let me get rid of some of the clouds. And this, again, fast forwards storms in and out because I didn't decouple that yet. That's something I'll take care of this month. So now the sun is already down, or in nighttime, and we've got the sunset colors, and you can see it extends way up into the sky for those purples. And it actually gives us some purple light on the ground too. A lot of it, there's not that much right now because it already got a little darker. If it wasn't raining, you probably would have seen more of it. But it takes a like average sampling of the skylight at different spots to try to give a pretty good look. And sunrise, we're gonna get same thing. You get first it would be the purples would come up, but it gives you a nice little warning a good while before. Like here we've already got some purples coming up where the sun's starting to come up, and it reaches way up to all those high clouds while they're there. And I just really like, you see you get like the little twilight lighting. I just like the dynamic colors. And all of that has settings in here. You could change if it uses old or new sunset code, how much coloration there is versus just not having it change based on the elevation and everything. How much variation there is in elevation. So if you want it to be like red on the bottom and still blue on top, or if it's red on the bottom it's orange on top. How long is day is out of the day-night cycle, and then how much is colored for evening, and then this is like a minimum thing. I'm going to fix all the tooltips. I just haven't gotten to all that yet. I did some of them, just I don't remember where they are. I'm kind of working from the top and working my way down. So here we get these nice colors. I'm a fan. I like the purples. I'm not the biggest fan right now of the yellow-red transition. Like here, I think it might be a bit too much. But it's just for like a fleeting moment, and it's really dynamic. So I'm gonna see what adjustments I can make to maybe make it look better, because I like getting some of the little greens and hazes. It's experimenting, you know. I did fix the stars finally. I'll shrink down the clouds. I changed the star and galaxy code to be 3D instead of 2D. So it no longer has distortion on the edges of the screen. We've got some weird constellation there. I don't know what that is. And all this has adjustments too, so you can like turn it off or lessen it and show you performance. Because there's some vast differences. I want to make low look more like medium, but right now low is very, very, very different. What it starts off on is probably a mix of low and medium. Like with my other shader, I'd recommend starting with a preset. Start at very low. We'll see what kind of FPS we get. I haven't... Changing that now might kind of break things. I've been running max frame rate for this whole video, so my graphics card is probably hot, and these probably won't be the best. Since we're using distant horizons, I'm going to put this down, because that's what I was doing before. This is what we're doing for shadow distance. We're running Patrix 128 and all that. So let's see what we've got on a hot graphics card. We're getting 280 frames per second on low, or very low. And what this does is it's got pretty much like a vanilla sky. It does have PBR, but the lighting right now is kind of really washed out outside, but still gets really dark inside. I just need to make adjustments to it. It's running a whole separate lighting implementation that I wrote when I first started the shader, and it's not using the same as everything else. If you wanted to watch evening, it's going to be kind of very vanilla, but still has a little bit of stuff going on. The sky on this is pretty much the base pack template from Shader Labs Discord. Get a little bit of orange and get those stars. I think that's the vanilla star data. Let's go to low. Low has the kind of dreamy overcast clouds. Still, it's got this bad lighting. You could see that it's very washed out in the torch areas because it's fully just using the Minecraft lighting. It's not doing any kind of directional lighting. Hey, buddy. But it's got this kind of overcast sky that I first showed a long time ago that people liked. And it has an option to do infinite plane sky reflections with water that, since we're using distant horizons, we're not doing. On low we get, let's see, 100 frames a second. That's not good. It was getting like 250 before. I must have changed something. Let's see. Changes with it. The water is the water fog is distance based, so you don't get those rays. So there's caustics, but they're low quality. But you can mix and match everything. And it looks like you do not see clouds through the sky, or you do not see clouds through water. Medium is broken right now. I broke it when I added cloud shadows, but I'll fix that soon. High, let's see what we get. I'm gonna fix first. I don't want color in the water. Because otherwise it's a bit too bright and blue. And I think I also want to make the water smoother, just for appearance sake. But still too ripply. On high we've got the more expensive clouds. We're doing ray tracing. We're doing the path tracing where the light bounces around all over the place. We get a little bit of handheld lighting, but it's very bad because, like I said, it's not actually coded yet. Oh, another thing I added is cave mouth dust. Like you can see, like at the openings of caves, you get like a kind of like a dusty area as you first go in, and then it clears as you go down. So you get like a little bit of lighting, but it's not that great. And on high we are getting 70 FPS. And that's all the clouds I showed earlier. Let's see what Ultra does. Ultra is a mix of high and cinematic. I think it runs a sky at higher resolution, and it does more bounces of light. Like I think it does 3 instead of 2. It'll probably have a little bit better handheld lighting, which again is just incidental right now. Actually, you know what, let's see, what does it do indoors? 45. And let's see what it looks like outdoors when we're looking at a bunch of sky, because the most expensive things are the path tracing and the sky. So if we're combining them outside. $30. Oof. That's gone down. And one of the main things, I'll go over the performance quick menu in a little bit. What I'd been playing on mostly was cinematic because it was getting me 35 to 40 frames a second. It's probably not doing that anymore with the new reflections. Yeah, it's not having a good time. I know there's a quicker way in there. I'm just muscle memorying where I hold my keyboard. Oof, Cook and Egg is back to its roots. So, Cook and Egg is an opportunity to talk about quick performance optimizations. Let's see, what else have we done this month? I made the presets work except for medium. I started on Palm, it does not work, don't use it. I started on Wavy Plant, you can turn them off here because they're not perfect yet, they're a little glitchy. Please don't use auto exposure, it is broken and does not work. And I made the new reflection code. Rain and snow, you can turn on and off the dynamic rain and snow here. This is where you make them 3D or not. This is so you can see all this in the video about the rain and the snow. I put all the rain options here. This is for when it's not 3D. The snow has a lot more options. I wouldn't mess with them. It's probably only going to mess up if you do. Just maybe turn off snow on entities if you want. Anytime you change something, just remember this reset key and remember to like save your settings. There's a lot of settings that are easy to break stuff. See what else is in here that's new. Some of this stuff doesn't work great yet. I did a lot with the ZTM Hotfix shader in Distant Horizons. I mostly just ported that stuff over. The texture is bad. This should be defaulted to 0 until I fix it. And it looks like I'm missing a few options. I'll do some more of that later, so that's got full PBR support and everything. Lava was in here. Lava resolution. I'm gonna, if anyone wants it, I'll add a resolution slider to the raindrops too. So that if you're playing with, like on low, and you've got the raindrops on, I'll make these actually be like pixelated to match your resource pack, if that'd be a feature anybody wants. Let's see, the future of the shader. What am I I was working on the reflections. I'm gonna probably do a little bit more work on those and get them where I want. I'm gonna fix the water surface here, not letting you see out of it. Fix the water surface in general not being what I want. Now that it's doing reflections, properly, I want to make it look like I want. Also, it's showing the caustics on the surface of the water from above, which really changes how it looks, and it's not looking like how I wanted it to. I'll show you here. You see where the sun is, the caustics are on the surface of the water instead of just being like on what's under the water. It kind of really interferes with the look, so I'm going to fix that. But I'll make it so you can see them on the surface of the water when you're looking up from inside. What else do I want to fix? I'm going to speed up the light simulation path tracing. I'm going to half the amount of rays with a technique I used to use that I had taken out. I'm going to put back in, where the diffuse and specular rays will run as a single thing instead of two separate things. That should double the performance of the lighting. I'm also going to take out where the sky ray tracing is separate, which will add another 30% of performance to the lighting. And I am going to add off-screen reflections. First, they're going to be a mixture of capturing what you've looked at already and what the sky is, so that that will not update enemies off-screen, but it will greatly enhance how reflective things look, because you won't get the screen space reflection problems like with the edge of the screen kind of cuts off there on the right, and on the left you get the vignette, if I'm saying that right, and stuff like glass here will show what's behind you more. I'm also going to do more work on the reflection code to make it better. Things just aren't the best, but I'm going to start with a capture system, and then I'm going to do a full voxelizing, which will take a 3D copy of the Minecraft data and use that to basically like ray trace the stuff that's off screen to work better, and it will fix cases where screen space has a bad time, like going behind things that are on screen even, or voxelizing the train and everything, make that work better. Like I said, I'm also going to put the water fog to work when you're not in water, and I'm going to have the translucence run in a little fog. I'm going to add tooltips to all these menus so they work better. What else is on the list? I'm going to make the water puddles actually work. I'm going to add the palm and all my better 3D textures patch, which means then we will have texture filtering and upscaling and seamless 3D textures. And once I get those in, I'm going to add the individual waving blades of grass that I showed on YouTube as a demo. I'm also going to add lightning effects. I don't know if I actually put that in the testing menu to see it. I did not. I did the video where I showed just like a lightning animation. That was a test of just putting something I want anywhere I want in the world. And with that, I'm going to do lightning bolts. I'm going to like enhance them. It'll be an option, of course. And then I'll have them be like all over in the background and stuff during a thunderstorm. I'm also going to decouple the cloud timer and water timer and lava timer from the world day clock, because right now it resets right at like sunrise, and it does that fast forwarding when storms come in. So I'm going to separate that out and also do the auto exposure. What else was there? I'm trying to think. But I think the big performance improvements to the ray tracing, along with visual improvements, like I said, whenever you combine it, will be a big difference, because then the shader will run better and look better. And then eventually I'll extend work into some of the shader files I haven't yet, like the particles. I want to add a bunch of shading options. So I'm going to have like cell shading, hatching, painted stuff like that. There's a bunch of stuff. And like I said earlier, I need to fix the water ripples, are kind of messed up. And it looks like the rain ripples too have a bit too much pattern to them. And something just glitched. Yeah, it's early access, guys. So there's going to be some problems. But one of my main goals is to keep it as accessible as possible. So like I've got where the snow will still work on very low, but as like a 2D variant, and run at like 200 frames a second. I want to keep doing stuff like that. So I'm going to try to keep as many options that I come up with working in as many presets as possible. And there's a bloom option menu, so you guys can turn it down or turn it off. I'm trying to think what else. 3D textures. There's a list on Discord, you guys can ask me. But I hope you guys like the shader. This is where it is for this month. I'm gonna keep working on it and making it better. This kind of just is a low energy. Man, look at that. Show you where it's at. Type of video, no editing. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope you go with me on the ride of where it's gonna be, because I think it's gonna be something special. In some ways, I think it already is. Have a good week. I'll talk to you guys soon.